Upon his accession to the presidency, Fillmore had to settle problems with slavery, conflicts with Native Americans, and Western administrative disputes in one of the most politically splintered times the country has ever endured. Swayed by popular demand, he signed the Indians Appropriation Act of 1851, which allocated government money to create reservations for Native Americans during a surge of white migration into their lands. On the issue of slavery, Fillmore's policy was compromised in order to preserve the Union. In the Compromise of 1850 he signed, propositions were made to assuage the North and South while successfully annexing and organizing the Western territories. This was a controversial decision that not only led to the downfall of his own political career but also the Whig Party, as well as intensifying the conflict between Northern abolitionists and Southern slaveholders. However, it did manage to hold the nation together in an uneasy peace and averted a secession crisis that had been brewing for many years. Despite having to deal with national unrest, Fillmore also dedicated much of his efforts into foreign affairs. In 1853, he successfully opened trade with Japan, a previously isolated country across the Pacific. He reluctantly accepted Napoleon III's declaration of emperor in 1852, but firmly opposed French annexation of Hawaii and even threatened military power to preserve its sovereignty. This decision would prove beneficial years later when the U.S. annexed the territory and was able to use it as a vital military base in the Second World War. Some of his other international achievements include brokering a deal for Portugal to repay debts dating back many decades, establishing commercial ties with El Salvador, and facilitating successful negotiations with Mexico, Peru, England, and Spain. Fillmore's domestic policies brought prosperity and created temporary peace in the country, and through his foreign policies he would extend commerce, form diplomatic relationships, and amplify American global influence. Fillmore's career was not without faults, but he also achieved many definite successes and breakthroughs that often go unacknowledged by the pages of history. Approaching the end of his term, Fillmore felt obligated to rerun for president, but with his tarnished political reputation, he was unable to win the Whig Party nomination. Instead, it went to the Mexican-American war hero Winfield Scott, who was largely supported by the North. However, Scott would lose the election of 1852 to Democratic candidate Franklin Pierce, making Millard Fillmore the last Whig Party candidate to take the presidency. And due to the heightening of sectional tensions and his failure to impede the expansion of slavery into the West, his presidential career that had begun out of obscurity was ended in infamy.